Well, good evening, my friends. I am back again for more fun in Final Fantasy XIV. I'll get through probably a few more dungeons, hopefully. I think we go against Garuda soon. Garuda has some of my favorite music in the entire game. But yeah, let's drop into the game. It's been a fun little week. And by fun little week, I mean I've gone to bed with my back out a few times from lifting and whatnot, so gonna do this. But one thing that I want to do is, yeah, let's just do a random duty today. So the duty finder is something where you can choose which one you want to go into, or you can do a random one. And if you do a random one, it tosses you into a random one. Any of the duties that you have previously completed, you are eligible to join. So, sitting here, I'm hoping that I get Brave Lux again, so that I can get the entire cavalry set. See, there's just the leaves here. Urges and Tribulations we don't need. Leaves. Now, somebody gave me a great idea, and I think we're going to be doing it tomorrow as part of my video thing. And I'm going to be... a lot of people are asking, because Square does not make it easy to do. You essentially need to make 2 different accounts that will be linked to start up in this game. It's confusing. It's a sight better than Final Fantasy XI. Final Fantasy XI, you were given this. You did not have a username. You had a user code. So if you forget your code, good luck getting your account back. I spent 3 weeks talking with customer support trying to get my account back, and saying this was my character, this is what I did with the character. It was on this server. It was approximately yada yada yada, and yeah, they did not. They weren't very helpful trying to get my account back, and so I made a new account, and I actually quite enjoyed going through and relearning how to play. As a few expansions had come out since then, and what is it? Treasures of Ot Urgan opened up the best power leveling spot if you can cast a heal. Oh, we're entering a duty that is already in progress. 8 minutes has elapsed. The previous tank probably abandoned. I will find out what happened. Hey, thank you for following. One Ultimate Fan. Glad to have you in here. So, previous tank disconnected due to lag, which happens. And yes, I know your name. I'm not going to say it on stream though, because I do not approve of doing stuff like that. But I do appreciate the follow. So we are back in Sastasha. not too far in. No, the healer's there. Healer just cast something, so we are going to engage. Yep. It's a wonderful time to get in on this game because we've got an expansion coming out. You can play for free until level 60, and that's with some minor limitations on communications and joining free companies and stuff like that, because they don't want people to be spammed. They don't want trading to happen between free accounts and non-free accounts either, which I can fully understand. But anyways, yeah, I'm thinking about going in and making a video tomorrow explaining how to actually set up a new account. It's been, what, 8 years for me now since I last had to set something up, because going from 1.0 to 2.0, there were a lot of changes made to the system, so had to re-sign up. So I will probably do that and get that out before the end of the day, so that, you know, a lot of the people that are heading over to Final Fantasy XIV will know how to get in and start enjoying the game. Because if you make it difficult to set up an account, it kind of pushes people not to. I mean, there are a few games that it just became too frustrating for me to continue with, because account creation was a pain in the butt. I think Black Desert Online was one of them, but that was like ages ago with Black Desert. Plus, I was making it on the European server because I did not want to, well, I shouldn't say I did not want to, I could not purchase the game at the time, and I kind of wanted to see if I liked the game before buying it. I did that. Oh. MG, you're a monk. Level 14 monk. And that... stun does no damage in this, it is just a stun. Pass. Pass. So if you have stun in your rotation, take it out. Save it for, you know, when stuff happens. There's something you need to interrupt. So I'm not going through with the teaching thing right now. If there are any questions that come up, feel free to ask, but I am just going to be doing this as part of my duty roulette. And we're still low enough level that we're not getting holy bombs. Now, holy is one of my least favorite spells in this game. I like that it gives white mages something to cast for damage, but not a big fan because it stuns everything. So usually, in most fights, the white mage will come out and get into the group of enemies, cast Holy 3 or 4 times, and then they'll start healing. If you're lucky, they'll start healing. You have the holy bombs going off, and that can screw with certain things. I'm not gonna get on anybody's case right now for the stuns, because it's not really an issue at the moment. Back to the first dungeon of the game. I'm also going to be taking my first video and cutting out a few of the parts and just making it more accessible for people. Because there are yeah, and if I weren't planning to do that already, I would not be happy. They say oops. But yeah, I'm gonna go through that video a bit, and it goes over all of the menus and all the different sub options. And a friend that started playing said that they got a lot from it, so I'm going to try to just like single out that thing so that people can like look at it if they want to know what certain things under the menus do, because it's not always clear. And granted, a couple times I was like, what does this do? It took me a moment to recall. Green bunny in white armor. Carrying a really old weapon. It's funny. What is it? Obsidian? Obsidian is one of the sharpest materials on the planet. There was a doctor that created a scalpel using obsidian, and it's a very brittle, very brittle material, but so he made this scalpel out of obsidian, and it had he performed a surgery with it. Everyone involved agreed. Very careful, but you will heal faster from an incision made with a scalpel versus one made with his obsidian scalpel than with an actual traditional scalpel. The reason being is zoomed in, the edge on the obsidian blade was like almost completely fine. You zoom in on the scalpel and there are like very microscopic cuts and dings and basically damage to the blade. So, and the reason that you will heal faster is because there's less cellular damage. the obsidian scalpel actually went between the cells, whereas the steel scalpel went through the cells. So it's a rather cool little bit. And the reason I bring that up is because the weapon that I'm using, this Maquatl, Maquahuitl, is based on an Aztec weapon that was basically a chunk of wood with a lot of obsidian in it. If you look close at this, you can see that the edges of the weapon are covered in obsidian. Right, we are through. We're almost to the last boss. So if you ever... Okay. That was... So I brought the camera over here and I wasn't able to tab through them. Yeah. I'm not able to tab through them because I can't see them. So where your camera angle is can affect what you can target. Which is an adjustment if you're coming from World of Warcraft. Okay. They are all new to this dungeon. Or they just haven't figured out how to turn off the auto thing. You're not doing this the normal way. I told them to just burn the boss. Because if you can do enough damage between the unnatural ripples appearing, they won't pop out. Got enough DPS. There goes the third ripples. This one we're gonna have pop outs. This is the last ripple. And he's going to be dead before they get a chance to actually do anything. Yep. There they are. And they don't even get a chance to move. Alright. Commendations. Open this. Pass on both things. Alright. That was our daily for today. We're gonna go through some more of the quests. Actually, I can go to Sunken Temple now. No, I want to get Paladin before I head to Sunken Temple, but... Oh, let me check where we are in this. Huh. I am going to do a quick turn to Ul'dah and see if I can get the quest. If I can't, then I'll just continue main story quests. But I thought I was going to be able to unlock jobs at 30. Main story quests of 30, that is. Quick hop, skip, and jump. Oh, you know, sometimes I like the puns, but the Wu Tang Clan is apparently a free company now. Gladiators Guild. Oh, it's nice. Since I... Yes, my character will teleport. Looks like yes, I can. Well, guess what? Guess what? Lulutsu wishes to share with something exciting. Want to experience the quests, the stories? Please play the game. My character did teleport, yes. And right now we are going to become a paladin instead of a gladiator. Tasting strip. Testing strip. But ultimate, yes, there's a lot in this game. Quite a lot. If I hadn't skipped the stories, my videos would be about 3 times as long as they are, I think. There's a lot of storyline in this game. Main quest, and they actually put some thought into the side quests that actually link into stuff that has happened in main quests in the past. So they have good writers that know how to get things work together. It's nice when they don't constantly change the people that are in charge of everything. And also, it's nice when you have people that, work on the game that actually play the game too. Say, hey, I think this would actually be pretty cool. Let's run it by everybody else. We are becoming a paladin at level 40. That's just... I wish it could have gone that easy in the past. Leveling is just considerably easier now. And if I decide to hop over into another job, of which I only have one right now, I'll get a bonus of experience based upon the difference between my highest level and my lowest. What level it is as I level. Okay, mage, you go down. Now, something that I've talked a lot about the story in this game, and it's not just the main story quest and certain side quests. The job quests that you take, there's some thought put into them. When you hit the Dark Knight, you're able to get Dark Knight. Oh. The storyline for the 50 to 60 Dark Knight quests are really good. Nope, I'm just talking about side quests right now. The Ashkin remains to Jenny Lynn's map. Okay. Teleport tilde. But the Dark Knight quest is one of the quests that I can remember that gave me a very strong emotional reaction. I was borderline tears at one point in it. This game has brought me to tears a few times, just with the storyline. And yeah, I get attached to characters. I get attached to certain things, and there's some stuff that I absolutely hate that have happened, but I understand for moving the story forward. It's not the George R.R. Martin adopted method of, well, we're just going to kill these people randomly. But yeah, characters that you meet are going to die. Things Chamber of Rule. And very few video games actually earn it. They use the trope of, oh, well, something good has happened, and all these good things are happening, and then they kill a character that was never mentioned before, or that was just like a background character, and suddenly all these nice things, the spotlight is on them for a little bit, and then they kill a character. I think I've seen that once in this game, on one of the side quests. But I've been through a lot of the quests, and I don't recall them all. Alright. Now, an important thing when taking your first job. Wait for it to go through. Yeah, we'll watch the cinematic. Okay. So, getting your first job will open up some active help. You can look at that for, under system. Yeah, active help is under system. So, one thing about equipping the Soul Crystal. First time you equip it, you're going to reset your bars. It's not resetting mine because I imported my bars from my main character. So this is level 80 setup. Yep. So this is how my character is set up on my main character with all the skills set up. But your first 3 bars, I think, will be reset if you are not importing your bars from another character like I did. So be ready to reset your bars. If you remove stone, it'll go back to your previous bar settings. So that is just something to keep in mind. And we're going to get the various quests taken care of because I can go up to level 40 quest. Okay, so now that we're here, you notice how as soon as I go to Paladin from Gladiator, it unlocks a lot more traits that were not there before. And these, some of them I'll get as I level up. I think most of them I've got a quest for. Role doesn't change, actions do change, because you got the class actions, not that kind of class action, and then you got the job actions. The job actions, some of them will unlock normally, and the rest of them you have to do your quests for. So, be ready to do quests, and always go back every 5 levels initially, and I think at after you hit 50, it's going to be every 2 levels to get another quest. So be sure to check back every so often to make sure that you've got something else that you can use. And if you have somebody saying, hey, you should be using this because you're level whatever, check and see if you've got any class quests when you get out of the dungeon or where you're at. So, we are now Paladin. We have become Paladin. Prayer of Evil. How the hell did I cut myself? Okay. So, we're going to travel Noskia. Not at Outer Lenoskia yet. Have uppers? Do not have uppers. Well, we are going to go for a run. Because we got a chocobo. But I should also complete my feisty little chocobo quest. Just so that I can bring my bird out. Level it while I'm doing this, because I've got the all the happy stuff that goes with it. So, I'm going to finish the paladin quests, and then I'm going to go and set up the, get ready for the dungeon. The Sunken Temple. What's funny is you say something like Sunken Temple, and most people are like, oh, it's underwater. No, it's more like it collapsed in on itself and sunk into the earth. Yay, Bronze Lake. Mamul Jaw Breeder. Mud Pupil. We're just gonna run by the fade. You know, this is actually one of my favorite zones. Mainly because it's split up like it is. It was a hassle early on because you'd have to spend gold just to go over to the other side. But, over time I came to really enjoy it. Oh. Nope. We need to attune ourselves. We can teleport here. Talk to the Chocobo Keep. And attune. But if you want to learn how to play this game, I highly recommend it. It's really fun, and I know for a fact that you like good stories. And this has one of the best stories I've found in all of gaming. Because the story starts in the original release of Final Fantasy XIV, and when they shut that down and then rebuilt it and brought it back as 2.0, The Realm Reborn, they had a storyline going in 1.0, and when 2.0 came out, they built upon that storyline, and we are currently dealing with... Nope, that takes us back. That takes us elsewhere. So, we are currently dealing with, we're coming up on what is essentially Chapter 5 of a 5-chapter storyline with the next expansion. Each expansion was its own additional chapter telling the story of what's going on. You know, like a story does. So, we are going to be having some fun. I really can't wait to find out what happens. And I had a friend that was just like so gung-ho, addicted to World of Warcraft, and part of me thinks that it was just so much time invested, didn't want to stop. But, you know, I'd bring up the things that I did not enjoy about the game anymore, and those were reasons that they were still playing, and it's like, okay, you do you. It's a very toxic environment, so I'm not really wanting to be there. But considering that they are no longer my friend and a lot of the reasons for it. Oh, please do not aggro me. Thank you for turning around. But yeah, considering everything that happened with that relationship, friendship, however you wanted to say it, I'm not surprised that that is something that they enjoyed. Okay. Paladin. Use your environment to your advantage. If you've got two enemies that you want to AoE together, hide behind something so that they have to run over and stop ranging at you. And it's funny, because I'm used to playing a max level paladin, all the skills, as soon as they unlock for me, I'm already used to cycling through them. So as soon as they unlock, I'm going to start using them like it's second nature. Because it became second nature. Okay. You have another one coming out? You do! Hide from it, it's going to charge us. But yeah, my experience on World of Warcraft was toward the end of Burning Crusade is when everything started to go like sideways, and it just became really everything became toxic, really. And I had a friend that was wanting me to get involved with the PvP and the arena PvP, I should say, and I didn't enjoy it. I did not enjoy the idea of having to, oh gosh, what's the word? Shell out 40 gold every time I wanted to go PvP, and then 40 gold when I wanted to go back to PvE, because you could only have one spec for your character at a time. You could not dual spec back then. That's nice. That's one thing you don't have to worry about in this. You don't have to spec. You don't have to put points into anything. I think one of the original ideas that they had, and I think you actually did have to put points into like what stat you were increasing when you leveled in this one, but they got rid of that because it's like everybody's going to put the stats in their job stat. Which, you know, completely makes sense. Oh, my character's dexterity based. I'm going to put points in strength. No, you're going to put points in dex. And I understand it gives players the feeling of customizing their characters, but stat-wise in a game like this, it's better if everything is static. It's just easier on the design end. If it were something a little bit more complicated, like Pathfinder or Dungeons and Dragons, by all means, do it. It doesn't necessarily work the best for all systems, because you'll come across that person that wants to put the points in something that the points don't belong in for what they're playing. And something that requires the skills to be at a certain level for various things, like, what is it, the Fallout games. The later Fallout games. Because 1 and 2 are different games. 1 and 2 are actually role-playing games. Nope. if you try to take a quest too soon after turning it in, you'll get their normal intermediary text-to-speech. Alright, what are we doing this time? And we are getting Prominence, which is going to be our upgraded, our second step for an AoE attack. Okay. You're going to be going to Eastern Thailand. But no, I've thought about it a couple times going back to World of Warcraft, but ultimately it's just too much of a headache. And, you know, the way they designed it is they would reinvent the class every expansion, and you'd have to relearn how to play the game, for the most part, after every expansion. And I did not like that, especially since I did my best to play all the classes. Can't tell from my main character being 80 across the board. I like the variety. Oh, this kind of character would be best in this situation for a raid. And it really did stem from when I made my paladin back in Burning Crusade to help my guild. Even though they decided to bring in someone that was, they were a friend of one of the officers and they really liked him, but he was a fit paladin. He couldn't hold threat on a single target, let alone a group of enemies. So, yeah. While he just joins and gets to go in on his main class, I have to sit on the sideline because I declared that Paladin was going to be my new main, so I sat out for a few weeks and just... yeah. What was it? The Lady Vaj's temple is where the guild finally broke up. But yeah, that got me interested in playing a lot of the other classes. And that's also when I made my wonderful, wonderful twink. I had them as a level 29 twink for a while. And I took them up to a level 39 because I could do a lot more damage at 39 than I could at 29. Main character was an enchanter, so what did I do? I enchanted all the gear, made the however I could do it to enchant stuff and give it to that character. More? Or... but it was kind of scary at that point to have a level 30 character with more health than any of the tanks that were coming into the PvP matches. And they flip-flopped all the time about, well, do we give experience for doing PvP or not? And I loved it when they didn't give experience for it because you could stay in a low-level PvP bracket. It forced players to actually go out and do quests to level up. Or I should say, do dungeons to level up. Sit there screaming, looking for group for this dungeon, looking for group for this dungeon. Then you finally get a group and 2 people bail, can't do the dungeon. I'm honestly surprised that it took something like 10 years for the MMO community to come up with the concept for a dungeon finder. or you can be matched randomly with other people that want to do the same content with you. And, 2 players that are coming from World of Warcraft. This game, the Dungeon Finder is a lot better than I remember from the Mists iteration. I don't know if they've tweaked it or not. But, yeah, when you do the Duty Finder, leveling, if you mark leveling, there are going to be people that go in to do it because you get daily bonuses for doing the different things. If you go in like this, you won't get the bonus. So you won't get a bonus experience at the end. I think when I finished this, I got like 230,000 experience today, which is almost an entire level. If you are a new player and you're trying to do low-level content, there's always going to be people queued to help you, because everything is linked together. And because they have different tiers, as they will unlock on here, I've only got 2 of them unlocked. But as different tiers become available, you can queue specifically for that, and you will get people queue for the bonuses that they can get. Other people will queue just because they want to do a random, and you can go like half a year without going into one dungeon or another, and then you'll randomly get it like 3 times in a row. And it's usually because there are people that queue for it because they need it for their storyline or they need it for their first clear. So, I'm going to teleport back to Ul'dah. So, they've taken something that could have been... They basically took a good idea for this game and improved the hell out of it. And there's one duty finder that you just have your choice of 2 things in there. And the reason they added it is because a lot of people don't want to do it. So that has its own separate section. There are storyline dungeons, and I'm going to have to sit through the cutscenes on that one because they are unskippable. So I will definitely put flags that there are spoilers in that. For anyone watching my videos, for anyone watching my stream that doesn't want to experience the spoilers. But at the same time, I think I will cut the videos out of my the videos when the cutscenes out of the videos that I put on YouTube. Prominence. And that is just a chain skill that goes with Total Eclipse. So, our next one, Poisoned Hearts. Not going to tell us anything more than that. So, we're going to go to Little Alamigo. We are going to unlock Sunken Temple, and we are going to run Sunken Temple. And I'm going to teach you how to do the fights in Sunken Temple. How they're supposed to be done, at least. Because these Sunken Temple does have mechanics that you need to pay attention to. First boss does. Second boss does. And last boss definitely does. So, ooh. Something that needs to die. And so a lot of my... people might be looking at my bars and going, wow, that's a lot of things you've got on your bars. I like to have the stuff that I use frequently in reach. So, Provoke, I've always had my taunt as Shift 1. I've had that since EverQuest. So EverQuest was seriously different. And taunt was not a I'm going to taunt you and you're going to attack me type skill. It was, I'm going to hopefully generate enough threat from doing this that you're going to attack me, because like everything in that game, you had to skill it up. Hey, Albin the Ashen. B rank hunt target. Alright. Give me my dungeon. You. Clear your selection. Got this button here that says clear selection. Get in the habit of doing that every time you're queuing for something. Because if you just did, say, Hawk Manor, but you go over here and oh, I want to do the Bowl of Embers today. You are now queued for both of them. So always clear the selection. Just a bit of advice there. I'm gonna set up Sunken Temple, join, and go and visit Wineport. While we wait for the queue to pop. So, I've been cleaning out my pantry. My mom is in the hospital. She's, well, not in the hospital anymore. She's recovering after surgery. And I am doing some cleanup while she's out, because it's a lot easier to get done when she's not here, because I've basically completely disabled the living room. Because everything from the pantry, everything from the kitchen is basically in the living room right now. And I'm going through stuff. Things to get rid of, things to keep, things we no longer eat. And it's kind of taxing to get all this stuff done. And it's strange to, like, some of this stuff I remember putting on the shelf when we first moved in here 10 plus years ago. So it's been a long time coming doing this. And I'm glad for it. And right now, dealing with having to throw out a lot of food that has not just gone beyond the expiration date, but kind of to a sort of gross and or potentially dangerous level. I found a bottle of blue cheese dressing. Now, when you go and you buy a bottle of blue cheese dressing at the store, what's it look like? It's usually a very, like, off-white color. Not supposed to be black. So yeah, I'm throwing out a lot of stuff that's like that, or stuff that should be good for long-term storage, like jars of jam. Jam doesn't really go bad. It has to be oxidized or be introduced to the elements in order to go bad, because the chemical composition, there's usually too much sugar in there for bacteria that would normally grow to actually grow. It's too hostile of an environment. Doesn't mean bacteria can't grow, so always be sure to check. But with some of the jams, if the seal pops, you know, you've got the little pop seal on the top that you can press down, and if it makes the dirty type of noise, then seal is pops. Or when you open up a jar and you hear that type of noise, that's what we're referring to with steel being broken. And I found a lot of jars that were like that, and you know, they had like a Best Buy date of 2018, but that also means that they were bought like 5 or 6 years ago. But I'm having to throw them out because that's an unhealthy dose of botulism that you might be getting there. Don't know what botulism is? I recommend you look it up. Reminds me that I need to go through our crisper tray, or whatever it's called in the fridge. Yes. Oh, I don't like going through the fridge because I try to keep the fridge clean. I try not to like load it up, but you've been around my mother. You know that she has hoarding tendencies. And that's made worse when it comes to food because there's always, well, we have to have enough just in case, you know, there's something and we can't make it to the store. Which, you know, we've both been disabled for a long time. It makes sense. And I understand wanting to have enough food there to do stuff, but it's not necessarily just we've got we have reached a point of the kitchen being disabled to the point where we can't make food with the preparatory things for the food stuff. So hopefully this is going to make that a lot easier. The rice cooker is no longer going to be like top shelf type thing. Moving a lot of things around, making it so that if she wants to use any of the appliances to cook, she can go over, take them off the wall, and put them on the stove instead of, you know, having it set on the counter behind all the stuff that is like spices and condiments and the stuff that she uses for her food all the time. Like the blender was on the counter and you could not get to it because it was behind everything. And now it's on the pantry shelf. And a lot of the food stuff from the pantry shelf is going to be moved onto the rack. It's just a lot of moving stuff around and getting it to fit properly. And I am going to have to give away a lot of food that we just don't eat anymore. That neither of us have eaten in years. That, you know, we did eat way back when, but yeah, I just don't have to throw stuff out. I don't like that. And I'm thinking that I need to set up, I think what I might do is take this where the learning thing is and get rid of that image and just put the chat from Twitch over that section. But that's going to take some finagling, making a new overlay specifically for Final Fantasy XIV. Anyways, wow, I'm actually surprised I haven't gotten in yet. This is the longest we've had for a dungeon. So yeah, that's basically what I've been spending a lot of my time doing, and when I end the stream tonight, that's what I'm going to be going to do, is I've got to wipe down the counter, or wipe down the shelf that I, there we go. So, focused on the game now. The Sunken Temple of Karn. Welcome to the Sunken Temple. Let's watch the intro video. See what we're up against in here. We got a face, a mantis-type creature. Ghosties, bats, and us. So as always, when entering a dungeon, pop your tank stance. Excuse me. And make sure everybody's with you. Everybody's active. Everybody's... So. Engage. So. First section, I really don't know what all of this is. I think this is mainly done for lore. And remember to use your cooldowns, especially if you have them now. I went and got Paladin so that I would have my cooldowns like Sheltron, which increases my block rate for a short period of time. Every time you block, you should get 5% of your bar here up. And this is something else I will explain later in the video. If you're watching this on YouTube, and this is the dungeon itself video, I'm referring to the long cut. Yep. Sorry, you went after the enemy that I was not focused on. Okay, good. Everybody's got their jobs. It is possible to hit level 50 very easily without getting your job. I was level 40 before I got my job. Now the bats are not a problem here. While you're down here, you are going to come across 4 of these. You want to pick up all of them. Okay, we got Temple Bat, and we're going to have our first bee. Nope, we just got the bats right now. Want to get one of the bees? Come on, come on, dang it. So, the Karn Facer that's right there, if you kill it, it will drop a chest. The problem is that you do not want to kill the Facer first, usually. And the Facer will run away. What you want to kill is the bee. Because the bee has one skill that is absolutely horrendous that I can stun. And you can tell that they really want the loot first. So the bees have sacrificial sting. Sacrificial sting at this level will kill you. Most tanks... Oh, I can tell that you are from World of Warcraft because you call it a pat. It's been years since I've heard it called that. I was looking around for the other bee. Don't worry, people. So the bees will do the sting. There's a good chance that you will not, what's the word? If you get aggro and you're not the tank, you will die. But I like to kill them first, because the sacrificial sting, you can't run away from it. A lot of skills, they'll have to reset if you run away out of range from it. This is like an infinite range, so thankfully they haven't cast it, but if it goes off, it does something like 2,000 damage, easily. So grab the Gem of Affluence. First boss, okay. This boss will cast Doom on everybody. Mostly just a tank and spank. There will be ads that pop up. They are going to be bees that can do the sacrificial sting. So you don't want to get hit by anything. The ads are usually the DPS's job. So I'm going to tank them down and kill them because ads in this fight actually do have higher priority. So, first mechanic we just saw. There's Mo, which is a frontal cleave. Then he will spawn enemies. Now he casts Doom on all of us, and we've got to run over to the platform that's glowing. Keep an eye out on the platforms, because they shift. And many times you will run over to the one that you think has the lights, but it will change, which is why I preempted and came over here. They're doing good with their mechanics. Usually we have one death to doom by now. So, do it one more time. Oh, you want to get away from that? I've got to pop sprint. Don't be afraid to pop sprint if you need to get to something really fast. Sprint is a wonderful tool in dungeons or boss fights, especially when there's a mechanic like this. So right now, I'm not going to pick up the wasps because the fight is over. So, watch out for in that fight. You've got the wasps, which you need to hopefully have the DPS pick up. You have the Doom, and you've got his AoEs. Just be careful out there. You're doing pretty good on the DPS, so... Alright, so... This is one that's not so apparent mechanic-wise, but this head, this, Avoidre... I can't speak French right now. Avoidre needs to die while on this. It's kind of difficult sometimes because they will move left and right and get pushed off the thing by... Forgot those came in. So those things need to die while on platforms. Stop killing them. Good. Good. Okay, we got people that have been here before. Okay. That door is going to open. This guy's going to come up again. I'm going to wait for him, and then I'm going to shield, lob, and pull. If they do not die on these switches, they will... resurrect, like they did. So we're coming in here to get the third stone, the Fruit of Knowledge. And I will show you what those are for when we get to the end, because I actually want to open up the chambers that those are involved with. Each one of these will have an association in the right before the final boss. Level 41. So, it might seem a little out of the way, but there are 4 treasure chambers before the final boss. These all coincide with the name of the chamber. So if you can't see the name of the chamber on the outside, what you can do is you can zoom in. Like you've got the Vault of Wealth, the Vault of Secrets, the Vault of Steel, and the Vault of Ether. And each one of the items that we picked up is associated with one of those vaults. If you don't use the right one, it'll spawn some enemies. But most of the enemies in this are Stank and Pank, yes. Tank and Spank. I'm just getting all mixed up today. I didn't name the first boss. Oh well. So we're gonna go underground. These people have been here before, so I'm not going to explain the fights to them. But I am gonna mark things proper. So there are 4 enemies down here. I'm gonna grab them all so that people don't run into them. Pop my cooldown. Okay, second boss. When we get in there, I'll start talking about him. I'll be honest, I'm not the best tank when it comes to using Sheltron. Alright. Second boss. You need to destroy the Soul Stone in order to damage the Guardian. So. But I need to tank the Guardian. Now, this guy does have some attacks that he does. He's got a frontal cleave that is massive. I'm going to focus target so that I can tell what he's doing. Because I want to be able to attempt to stun one of his skills if I can. Because he's got a jump that does damage to everybody. And it's a pass bar. But you need to break the Soul Stone in order to be able to damage him. In the past, it's usually 2 breaks. I'm not sure where we're going to get today. It might be 3. Oh, we might get a 2 break. Alright, so he's going to run at somebody random and do that. And then he's going to run at somebody random and punch them. So he's going to do that attack, and then he's got one where he'll just knock somebody back like that and stun them. Crap, that's the jump that I was trying to avoid. If you can, stun it. Through grit, run away. Okay. Burn. Burn the boss. If you can, limit break on the second break, because it can make it go a lot faster and you don't have to worry about... If you don't end up killing him, you can still do damage to him, it's just considerably diminished. So I'm going to stay on him instead of going for the Soul Stone, because it would be about the same amount of time. They get knocked back. I've got my mouse over arm's length, so I can try to... Nope. Didn't get it out in time. Now, what didn't want arm's length? I wanted low blow. My mistake. I think that's because I've got the Soul Stone in the wrong spot. Or I mixed it up on my Soul Stone thing, so... I wanted to do low blow there. Yep, this was a 3 break. But that's also the reason that you do the limit break there as well. So, things to watch out for on him. You break the Soul Stone, then beat the crap out of him. He's got the Obliterate, which is a raid-wide damage. You've got all sorts of stuff. Trying to think. I went over the skills, I believe, and what you need to do in that fight. I don't think I need to talk anymore on it. I just screwed up and I hit arm's length instead of low blow. So I might have stunned that last one, but it did not... Didn't happen. Okay, they're gonna pop up. We just went under everything. We're going to take on a few more Death Claws. One more of the Avoir du Poids. I love that they incorporate stuff from multiple languages in this game. That one will be on that. You. Also gonna pull the Temple Croc. Beware of the Temple Crocs. They have stuff that they do. They have frontal cleaves and whatnot. Come on. They added that. I don't remember them glowing before. I do appreciate that. Okay, so we have the stone pedestal. This is going to be the Vault of Wealth. We're going to come here. We want to put the Gem of Affluence, because affluence is wealth. That opens this up. We've got a treasure coffer inside. You don't have to do this. This is a side thing. Most of the stuff that comes in here is not going to be expensive stuff. So we've got stone pedestal. This is the Vault of Steel. So we are going to be putting the Helm of Might. And you will retain them because those items are also going to be needed to unlock the final boss. And I will explain that as well when we get there. If you put the wrong one on the pedestal, you'll get enemies. I am not going to display that because nobody wants to see that. Well, I don't want to have to fight the extra enemies. Run away almost instantly because you can accidentally pull stuff. But this is going to be the Vault of Ether. This is going to be magic. Flame of Magic. Now, as we approach the final boss, the boss's chamber will open regardless. But there will be a side chamber that if you put the appropriate pair on the pedestals, it will... This is going to be knowledge, right? Secrets, knowledge. So. They need the final mapping pieces. Iron Belt of Resistance. Yes, I'm going to need on that. Okay. You can also get loot out of those. So the Temple Crocs, one of the reasons you want to be wary of them is they have both a frontal and cleave behind them. So they will do an AoE attack in front or behind if there are people behind them. So this last boss I think is the most complicated we've come to. One more group of enemies, unless somebody decides to put the wrong things on the pans. So the Scales of Judgment. See, there's its tail cleave. How I remember it is you've got the Flame of Knowledge, I think it is, and the Fruit of whatever. And the Flame goes left because it's got the L in the first name, and the Fruit goes right because it's got the R in the name. And that's how I've remembered that since way back when. So Flame of Magic and then the Fruit of Knowledge. And doing it this way, we activate the Scales of Judgment, and this wall disappears, and there are 3 chests over there. We get to see the cutscene for the boss. Really? Did it just, like, drop all tank drops? Holy crap. Yeah, we're gonna equip this right off the bat. Update. So, this boss has the same thing with the heads before. You have to pull the head onto one of these things. It's the DPS's job to do so. And the head has to die. There's one of the Sunjurers. So, grab it and pull it over there and kill it. So the next mechanic, aside from cleaves and whatnot, there's going to be a summoned nail. And DPS has to run into, yes, we got the Mithril Verge, which is going to attack like that. It's going to do a straight line area of effect. And then you'll get a nail. It's got a box around it. Like that. Another Verge. Now you go in there, it doesn't take any damage until, well, major damage I should say, until, got like a 95% damage reduction until the box goes up. Now if those things stay up, and nobody goes in there to destroy it, they will do massive raid-wide damage. Everybody's got to go in there. Well, we're going to see what happened. Never mind. Okay, and then we get the point where 4 of them appear, and they all do the line of sight AoE. Yeah. The laser beam, more or less. So I will go stand by one and gradually kill it. So this boss used to be a pain in the butt. He's a lot easier these days, but that is how you handle the Adjudicator at the end of Sunken Temple of Karn. I hope you find the video informative. Yeah, I'll hop in. There we go. Somebody did a limit break. That's the way you do it. Boom. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you found it informative. And now back to the regular questing. I'm curious. I don't believe it. Everything dropped for tanks. Like, most of the loot was for tanks. Only the weapon didn't drop. Well, head, legs, and weapon. Yeah, Sunken Temple of Karn is honestly one of my favorite dungeons in concept. It's just a pain in the butt because it's like long running between the mobs. Which isn't that bad in a game like this. And I know I was talking about something before we went in there, but I forgot. I think I was talking about stuff in the kitchen. Now, back in the day, if you wanted to farm raptor skins and sinew, this is where you did it down here. Why would you want to farm raptor skins and sinew? Well, the raptor sinew was used to make a green item that could be traded. Low resources, but be traded for Grand Company seals. So I was using the... I was... When I started doing that in earnest, they had a ranking system on the Lodestone. Lodestone, if you do not know, is the website used for a lot of Lodestone is used for all the character information, the forums, that kind of stuff. It's called the Lodestone. And they had a ranking on there way back when, and it was based upon how many points your free company was creating at the time. And, you know, I would always get up to like number 2 or 3 every week because I was donating so many of those items. which was insane because it was like you had groups that were doing. If I weren't doing that, we would be ranked at like 16 or 17. But, you know, I'm up there. I could not compete with the one that was usually the top because they would, on a weekly basis, have like a million points being made, and I was getting up to 150K easily with turning my stuff in. But, yeah, the items that we turned in, I spent the seals on buying stuff like coke and lumber to sell on the market, and let me hit one. Got one hit. Didn't get credit. And I would sell that stuff, and that was my main means of gathering income to buy the house that we currently have in Lavender Beds. Cleaning out the pantry, throwing out old stuff. It's all in the living room. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Well, the good news is that there's a good chance that because Mom is not recovered to the point where she can actually get into the apartment, in other words, she can't go upstairs yet, that she'll be able to get some more therapy where she's at. And insurance won't be able to say, we won't pay for that, because it's something that she physically needs to be able to do, which will take probably about another week of recovery. So that if that does happen, that's going to be a relief on my mind, because there's no way I can help her up the stairs. I am a very weak person, strength-wise, physical strength-wise. When I was working at my last job, yeah, I was actually putting on some muscle, and I could, you know, lift things that I couldn't do before. But not necessarily the most fun thing at the time as well. Forgot that I got prominence. Should make things die faster. It's funny, I actually lost weight while I was working, but I was putting on a lot of muscle. So that was probably not the best situation for me. It was a combination of stress and the fact that, you know, I would go like 8 hours without eating, and then I'd eat when I got home. That's a huge can of worms that I'm not going to even get into, and it's not because I don't want to eat. It's a matter of eating while I'm out. I'm not going to get into it. It's medical issues, so yeah, I'd say that Mom staying longer is a yay, because she was originally quoted as having 2 months recovery time in hospital, in hospice care. And then it gets sprung, oh, no, you're only going to get like 3 weeks of hospice care. Say what? Because you don't have major back surgery and then, oh, we're just going to take you off and you do your thing. We don't care. We're not going to pay for you to get better. We just want you out of here. Nope, I can't swim here, can I? Nope. Oh. That's actually some really good animation. And it's also a very simple animation. Well, my loss of weight probably came from the fact that I would only eat certain things while I was at work, just to keep my energy level up, just so that I didn't pass out. And that was like mixed fruit, like dried fruit that you would get, um, the papaya, cranberry, and pineapple mix that you would get at like a health food store. And I would eat goldfish. Anything else, and I was afraid that it was going to make me sick. You remember that, I'm sure. That damnable eating disorder that I finally figured it out. I finally figured out what was going on, and um, I have a few more ideas of what is adding to it. So I'm not going to go into it on here because nobody wants to hear about that on a stream, on a video. So unless they're specifically looking for those types of videos, then by all means have at it. But yeah, I've got it basically under control to where the negative reactions that I was having show up very, very occasionally. By very occasionally, I mean I think I've had it happen twice in the last 3 months, and it's because I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, everybody keeps saying that, and it doesn't work. Fat transplant doesn't work. Because there's a very good chance that the body that you're transferring it into is going to reject it. Yeah, I can... As long as I watch myself and certain things haven't happened during the day, or have happened during the day, I can do it. It's like on one of the last visits to, before the surgery happened. Mom, I had not eaten anything that day, and I needed food in my system, and we stopped off at fast food place, and I got a thing of fries for myself, and Mom was overheating, so it's just like, okay, you need something. I was gonna go get her a soda, but we saw a place that had ice cream. So instead of going to Taco Bell, we went elsewhere, and she got a root beer float for herself, which cooled her off considerably, and I got myself some fries, and I kind of regret getting those fries because they were... I haven't eaten fast food in a long time. I prefer not to eat fast food because I feel extremely lethargic and sick for a while after eating it. And that's exactly what happened after I had those fries. The only exception seems to be like the chicken nuggets from places. But yeah, I felt sick for a few days after having those fries. And I know it's because they were fries. I still want to go get myself one of those double mushroom Swiss burgers again. But I think the price has gone up to like $7 for one. Because inflation. Really good. I miss them, but I'm not going to. Because I think there's a means for me to actually make them myself. Especially after I get the kitchen cleaned up. I am also probably going to be moving some of the pans that are used for cooking onto the shelves. Because I know that Mom's not going to be able to open up the drawer underneath the stove to get them out. Yeah, no. That is one of the reasons. It's the convenience of it. And if you have a place around you like Trader Joe's or King Soopers or whatnot, you can spend the same amount on a prepackaged meal that's not necessarily going to taste the same. I'm not gonna lie and say, oh, it's gonna be better than this. But oh, I missed it. When I was in England, I was only there for a short time, but I went to the store, and this is like not one of the cheap ones. This is like one of the expensive ones, Sainsbury's. And they had prepackaged sandwiches that were fresh that day. And, you know, it was like £1.50, 2 pounds for pre-made sandwiches. So I got pre-made sandwiches. They were delicious. They were amazing. And the same thing over here would have been like $8 or $9 buying it in Walmart or King Soopers or Ralph's, something like that. And there's absolutely no reason that they need to be charging that much. His packaging was actually more minimal over there. Whose ribs? I don't remember her making ribs for people. It's one of those things of... Oh, yeah. Yeah, you did come to her birthday party. I forget about that, and she made those ribs that she gave to everybody. The ones that had the soak in the vinegar brine. It's been a while, and when I think back to that point, that's not the thing that I remember the most. The thing I remember the most is like 3 weeks later, one of the guys that showed up to the party was arrested for murder. And convicted. Yeah. And that place in the mountains that we all went to that one time, it was near there that the body was found. Like that road that you turn off to go up to it, that's where the body was found. So, it was drug related. The guy and somebody else were hopped up, and yeah. You're allowed to feel weirded out by that, because that guy lived behind us. Same building, but like one apartment back and one apartment over. But he was arrested, the other person was arrested, and they are currently serving, I think, a life sentence for murder. because it was... It's one of those things where, you know, it didn't have to be premeditated, but it was one of those horrific things done to the person. So... I was neighbors with a murderer, convicted. And whoever the other viewer is, welcome in. And to anybody watching this on YouTube, welcome in. Kind of an interesting conversation and where it goes. Are we referring to, oh, I actually have some stuff to say about that person too. But we'll get there later. Is Titan really next, or... We might be doing Titan. Titan. Yep, we're doing Titan. I'm sure I've got a lot of people like that living near me, but I'm not going to be, judgmental. Alright. So, open the duty finder. We're still queued for Sunken Temple. We're going to clear that out. We are going to come over to Trials from ARR, Heavensward, and Stormblood, the Naval, join. And, just like with the last video, hey Aaron, welcome in. Just like with the last dungeon that I did, I'm going to be going into professional mode and explaining mechanics and whatnot, and little else during the 5 to 10 minutes that we're in there. I'm doing okay. I've got a lot of stuff left to do around the apartment, but I am doing fairly well. I was gonna stream later, but I figured I work better later, so I will do the work after I stream. And then tomorrow I'm gonna be editing the videos that I've made all week. So true. From what it sounded like, it was not going to be anything. If drugs weren't involved, then it probably would not have happened. But you know, you add some stuff like you add the stuff in that Walter White was making on Breaking Bad, and it gets bad. I can't name it, or any potential of me monetizing my videos on YouTube goes down the crapper. I can swear occasionally, but yeah, YouTube does not like when you say certain words. Been told it's great for shaving the pounds off. I do not recommend it. Do not recommend it. But yes, Aaron, I'm doing well today. Emotionally, I think I'm better than I've been in a while. We are going to be waiting here for a little bit, so there's one fate that spawns right here. Very seldomly, and it was needed for the relic weapons early on. Certain ones, you had to snag certain fates. So while we are waiting for Titan... Well, what do you... Speak of the devil. Speak of the devil. We're gonna do this fate. Because it rarely spawns. walking slowly, and they're going to get ambushed. They're going to get ambushed. Now, the reason that this one was a pain back in the day is nobody would, even when trying to farm for the different things for the relics, this one would despawn too quickly. As soon as you see it on the map, if you are not standing there, there's a good chance that it would go away before, because it's a defense. You have to defend the you have to defend the pack chocobos, basically. And I'm not going to do it. So, entering into Titan. Welcome to the Naval. The Naval, where we fight the Primal Titan. Going to play this cutscene, but I'm going to go through all the dialogue, because spoilers. And I kind of like watching the summoning of the various primals. And he's thick. And I'm gonna hit him with a piece of wood with stone on it. Alright. So, Titan. Titan has a few mechanics. One of those mechanics is he's going to jump away every so often. He does Tumult, which is raid-wide damage. It will hit everybody. Oh crap. I forgot to put Iron Will on. My mistake. That is totally on me. I'm sure some of you watching the video are like, hey, you forgot to put... So he's going to jump up. You want to run to the edge. You don't want to be standing in the red. If you accidentally overshoot the red on the first one, that is acceptable because there's a little edge. He's going to turn, he's going to try to punch somebody off. As soon as you see the thing appear, move. If you do not, you will get knocked off the edge. You can fall off the edge, and you will die. So, when Landslide comes out, move. Good. But, he's going to jump up and disappear again. And destroy another ring around here. And there's not going to be a safety ledge. The safety ledge is just the mechanic of teaching. Huh. The knockback wasn't as bad as I recall. Maybe they lessened it. Well, we'll see if anybody misses it. Yeah, they lessened it, because that was you get knocked off the edge. So you want to run to the edge as well, because the damage is based upon how far from the center you are on the Geocrush. Now comes second phase. We're fighting his heart. We've got to destroy the heart. Now, he's going to entomb someone in a jail. You got the granite jail there. And I know what it's spelled like, but it's an archaic spelling of jail, but it's pronounced jail. You want to get them out, especially since that was our healer that was in there. Go back to the heart and break the heart. If you don't get the heart down fast enough, then he's going to do, it's a wipe. He'll do massive damage to the entire party. It causes a wipe. Tumult. I don't have my heal yet, so... Astrologian needs to... Okay. Doesn't matter where you stand in this, you're going to be taking damage. We'll still pop my damage reduction. Now at this point, if you get caught by that, you're off the edge. See? And unlike a lot of later dungeons, you do not respawn up here. Yes, weight of the land is the last mechanic, second to last mechanic to talk about. And it targets players, and it's a cast attack, and you have to run out of the area. This is not going to be fun. Not going to be fun. We gotta destroy this. There we go. Way to land again. Please don't get hit by that Cobain. Alright. Now, there are multiple versions of this fight, so I may not be remembering everything properly. I thought there was another phase that there were bombs. There might not be bomb phases in this. So, weight of the land, the granite jail, rock slide, landslide are what you have to watch out for. So, as soon as the jail goes out, I'm gonna run over here and destroy it. Also, if it's your first time playing the game and doing some of these mechanics, you might not be standing someplace, but you will still get hit by it. It's because damage is dealt from the server side. So if you are running away from a landslide, as soon as you're out of the landslide area, start spamming an attack. So if moving out of it, as soon as you're out, start hitting a button. Not jump, you have to do an attack button. Reason being is that you will, it will register server side that is where you are standing now. So, that is the fight for Titan. And we are going to skip this cutscene. I hope you learned how to do it. Toss out a comm to Mrs. survived, so we'll give it to them. Alright. Bananas Del Monte. But that is the Titan fight, and there's a hard mode and an extreme mode, and I think there might be a savage mode. And each one gets progressively harder. But landslide is usually a you're knocked off the edge skill in anything but normal. Now, one of these, no. There is a quest that you can get here at some point. I think it's one of these two. That will get you an item that you really would want to get a hold of. I don't remember who it is that does it. It's called a meteor ring. And one of the reasons that you want to get it is if you ever decide to go out and start farming materia off your gear, the ring increases the spirit bond, increases how fast your weapons, everything. Hey, welcome in, Hells. Glad to see you, mate. How you doing? But the ring increases the rate at which your gear will spirit bond, meaning you can extract materia from it more often. Glad to hear. I listened to your song. I really like your song. I hope you and, oh, come on. Who am I thinking of? I can't remember his name at the moment. The person that wrote the lyrics. I hope that you and he can do some project. Nick, yes, Nick. Hope you two can do a project sometime soon. You guys definitely have good vibes going. Where am I going? Speak with Rashakt Riki. Oh, we're going to Limsa. But yeah, just doing some Final Fantasy XIV teaching, if I can. What I do with these videos is any of the duties any of the dungeons duties, whatever you want to call them, I enter, I'm doing those professionally, like I'm not streaming. I mean, I'll still respond to questions that are asked if I can, but I mainly have my focus on the duty the first time through to basically make it into a teaching video that I put on YouTube. Because we've had an influx of something like 100,000 new accounts in the last few weeks. So there's a lot of new people in the game. An exodus from WoW. And more people leaving because of the lawsuit that was filed against Blizzard. If you don't know about that, go look it up. It's kind of expected, but still insane. So you know what Harvey Weinstein was doing? Not quite as bad as that, but still just as bad. Yep. And one of the things that I found to be kind of funny was, it's like they've got the right spirit, but they went about it the entirely wrong way. A lot of people were logging into World of Warcraft, and they were having a sit-in in-game, which, I like what you're thinking, but you're going about it the wrong way. You don't use the program that they need the analytics of people being logged in to justify things. Yeah. State of California filed suit. So it is kind of serious. When is our next one from Mr. Nedrick? Gonna be 44, I think? 47. And it is the dungeon that everybody hates. And I understand it. I remember not liking the dungeon when I was first starting out, but it's been nerfed, and it's actually a very easy place. What the... Okay, I probably should have been paying attention to storyline. I think I'm coming upon the first part in the storyline that actually, like, got me angry and, brought me to tears. Yep. So we are going to skip this. If you want to know the story, play the game. First 60 levels you can play for free. And I don't think there's any MMO out there aside from this one that is offering such a generous like trial account. You basically get 2 expansions for free. Well, the main game and 1 expansion. Also, if you want to see the story, but don't want to play it, there are other streamers, other people that have recorded it for viewers. That is not the purpose of my streams for this right now. So, yeah, it's exactly like that. We don't like Nike, so we're going to buy their stuff and burn it. Oh, okay. That... You're a special kind of stupid, aren't you? And Hells, Ultimate is one of my... I'd say one of my longtime friends. Known them for a long time. And Hells is another streamer on here who is actually really cool. Let me double check what duties are next. After Karn is going to be Cutter's Cry. I don't know if Cutter's is a storyline duty or not. I think it is. One second, I need to crack a window. It's like 83 degrees in here. I can handle it at 80, but it's too high. But yeah, if you're coming in, you don't know the game, I'm answering questions as well. I'm trying to make this a teaching experience for anybody that wants to come in and watch. I was given a suggestion this past week that I'm going to try to do, and that is how to set up an account for this game. Because it's still a bit convoluted. So I'm going to do a little bit of research on that and then make a video explaining how to do it. Because it's Square Enix, they can do some things well, but other things they kind of struggle with. I mean, it's a vast improvement over Final Fantasy XI, where you had a separate service that you had to log into. Let's see, you were in... I think you were in your, junior? No, you were sophomore, I think. So whenever you graduated, add a couple years to that. 3 to 4 years. No, it was your freshman because you were still friends with, Megan. And, yeah, she went batshit. Okay, so it's been about, 10 years. 10, 11 years. Wow. I still think you should have done the stove timer thing when you moved out. That would have been great, and it would have been just like the final comeuppance, especially with how just fucking horrible she was to you towards the end. an explanation for that. So they were roommates, and while they were in school together, and didn't realize the amount of enabling and paranoia that was being fostered by that girl's parents. And very, I think the term is borderline personality. Everything has to be done a certain way. Extremely suspicious of everybody that they think are suspicious, regardless of evidence to whatever. And so she was paranoid of me, so was told never to let them go over to never let them, meaning me, into the apartment. She was on vacation, so my friend invited me over with a couple of others, and we just like had some fun there. G-rated fun. PG, we were watching R-rated movies, so I noticed that the stove that they had in the apartment was the same that I grew up with. And they could not figure, neither of them knew how to activate the timer on the stove. And so I'm just like, okay, you mean like this? And I activate the timer. How did you do that? So what I was suggesting is that since neither of them knew how to do that, just as a small goodbye, set the timer for an hour, leave, and just let her deal with the screaming of the timer on the thing and not knowing how to fix it. And you might be thinking that's a little too mean. I mean, well, I remember stories about power being shut off at the was that with you, or was that with somebody else, where she would turn off the power at the breaker to prevent you from doing stuff in the bathroom at certain times? Because I want to say that was one of the things that happened with you, but it could have been a couple of other people that I know. Okay. Well, there was just a lot of passive aggressiveness going on as well. So I just think that it would have been kind of fitting and a final farewell. And you know, yes. Very, I don't want to say OCD, but that's... Yeah, I'm not even gonna go any deeper. I kind of wonder if how she's meshed into society, and if she still has an obsession with Vic McNonia, the guy who is currently being sued by, I want to say, 6 former people that he worked with for sexual misconduct. Yeah, Funimation booted him. He is facing charges from, it's either in proceedings right now or charges have been filed and they're waiting for court. But, yeah. He is, basically, if you've ever watched Soul Eater, how Maka's father acts, that's kind of what he was doing played down. And, you know, I've been hearing the stories from fans over the years that, you know, he was very inappropriate with them. And you can see some of the photos that, you know, the fans were scared to be asking for. And, you know, he doesn't even ask. He just, like, grabs and hugs and will hug inappropriately at times as well. So I'm kind of glad that he's finally getting the comeuppance. Because you had people like her that were defending, oh no, he would never do that. No, he would never do that. He's such a nice guy. No. That's... Where am I going? Ranting about Vic. I really just never liked the guy. He's one of those voice actors that only does one voice. And to me, that is lazy. It's like, I didn't like, oh, what's his name? He's the one that voiced Spike Spiegel. Stephen Bloom. I did not like Stephen Bloom for a long time because everything that I heard him in, it was the same voice. And then Transformers Prime comes along and it's like, wait a second. He's voicing Starscream? Okay, he's got some range. And then I realized, like, half a dozen other things that I've watched, he was doing the voices of characters, but it wasn't the Spike voice. Which, Spike, the voice he did for that is the same one he did in Samurai Champloo, and it was also the voice of the guy that did Toonami. The robot that was... I don't remember the guy that did the bumpers. Was his name Tom? You see, I didn't really watch Toonami, I watched Adult Swim. Because everything that they had on Toonami was like the hyper-edited anime. And I went for more of the non-edited. Oh, especially... So, first season of Naruto. Okay, his name was Tom. Got it. I watched the first season of Naruto before it really kicked off over here. And, you know, I was getting fan subs from various groups and watching them. And I remember one episode in particular that I later saw on broadcasts on Toonami. And so in the scene, there were characters that were crucified. Like they were like attached to a cross of wood. And I later saw that on Toonami and they got rid of the cross. And they got rid of him being tied to it. And they like, you could see where they did really crappy editing and like put his arms at his side. And it's like, okay, you know, I understand that I understand, and at the same time, I don't agree with the choices that certain people make when it comes to stuff. Okay to show a guy being tortured to little kids if it's in a church, but if you're doing it in a cartoon, that's not right. If we get talking about anime, I'm gonna go for a while, because I've got a lot to say. This was also the era of 4Kids doing all of their editing as well. And if you want to watch something that is like absolutely horrendous to the original storylines and the original content, but still kind of funny with what they were, what they think they were doing to save stuff, watch the One Piece on our 4Kids edits. Because they felt that smoking was not fit for a children's cartoon, because, oh, kids are going to emulate that. Granted, kids will emulate stuff. But they gave Sanji, the chef, a lollipop addiction instead of his cigarettes. So every cigarette, they went in and they edited a little tiny colorful ball on the end. And it doesn't make sense. Because nobody holds a lollipop the way he was holding his his yeah. And yes, the most famous one, um, jelly donuts in Pokemon. There's a great YouTuber, Binging with Babish. He actually did an April Fool's episode where they made the jelly donuts from Pokemon, and they followed it and made it a sweet treat and made it look like what was there. And then the next day he did the real thing of making the onigiri, the rice balls. So it was, if you have time, go watch it. It's great. Oh, they changed a lot. They got rid of a lot of the blood, because One Piece is a pretty violent show. Even in the early seasons, there was blood. And I don't know why, but they changed the color of it. So it's not red, it's like black or blue or something else. And it's just like, one of the pivotal scenes, there's a scene where, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched One Piece and plan to, or read it, skip ahead about a minute. So there's a scene where Nami stabs Usopp. Except she doesn't stab Usopp, she stabs herself in the hand and the blood and whatnot, and pushes him into the water so that the people around them can't figure out what happened. So in the edit, they kind of just like got rid of the entire scene and changed it. Let's see, Fall Guard Float. They did some amazing and stupid gymnastics to get those shows on the air. And honestly, I think it was a disservice. If they had not gone as gung-ho on trying to purge the things that they thought were bad from it, they actually might have stayed in business. Yep. The episode of guns in Pokemon, and they edited them out. And of course, there's the guns in E.T. If you get a hold of the original film of E.T., the policemen all have guns. The government agents, they all have guns. If you get a hold of the edit, they all have walkie-talkies, not guns. And it's like, even a 5-year-old is going to be like, the fuck is this? Let me check and see if Cutter's Cry requires storyline. No, it does not. So I am going to check where that is. That is going to be Ul'dah that I picked that up. Okay. So I am going to go to Ul'dah. See if I can pick that up. But yeah, the edits that they did to E.T. and Star Wars, they were just not... They weren't called for. Nobody wanted that. If you don't have the budget to do it originally, remake the movie, don't go back and edit the original. Thaumaturge, Pugilist. Hi, Banshee. Hope you're being a good kitty. Cutter's Cry. Yeah, I'm definitely high enough level to do this. Death before dishonor, so we are going to the marketplace. Give people the option to play the original. Watch the original. Don't just change it and say, this is all now canon. I guarantee you, it's not. Tap. Black brush. Cats be like that sometimes. Well, you gotta mark his territory somehow. So, this dungeon we're coming to, I discovered rather, amusingly that the last boss can be soloed as a bard. At level, I should say. Yeah, we're gonna take the helm just because it will be an improvement. Okay, so Cutter's Cry is now accessible. We're gonna queue for that. And when we go in the dungeon, again, I'm going to be focusing on doing the dungeon. If you have questions, feel free to ask. I will answer them as we go through. And I will try my best to remember not to forget Iron Will this time. If anybody watching is interested in joining up and playing, I tend to play on Fairy server, which is on the Ether, whatchamacallit, data center. And I am more than willing to help new players out and run things with people. Especially answering questions and all that happy stuff. Just exploring. I think we can get to Northern from here. Right? South Shroud. Okay, so we can get to South Shroud from there. Okay. So, Ultimate, you see this. See these glowing things that are in the sky. There's a Final Fantasy XIV meme that I absolutely love, and it compares World of Warcraft to Final Fantasy XIV. And I'll share it with you later, if I can find it again. But it's World of Warcraft, Deathwing, released from prison for years, fails to destroy the world. Bahamut, released for 179 seconds, succeeds. So these are remnants of Bahamut's attack. The damage that he left physical scars on the world that the people are still trying to figure out how to fix. And what's great is you get close enough and you can actually wander around on those. I might be too low level, but I'm gonna go see. Oh, peep. That really just looks disturbing to me. I hate to say it, that kind of looks like my dad when he was younger. Come on. And we are now walking on it. I just love the design of the old zones. All right, we're going into Cutter's Cry. Let's get ready. Now, Cutter's Cry is a different dungeon. You don't actually have to... Well, I'll wait till we get in there before I start saying this. Welcome to Cutter's Cry. Now, Cutter's Cry is an optional dungeon, but it is still a nice one to unlock just to get the experience and everything. But it's interesting in that you don't necessarily have to fight everything to progress. You can stun enemies and then jump to the next area. Tank stance. Well, that was... Somebody just got one of their new skills as a Dragoon. Pulling everything in. Also, while you are going through this dungeon, watch out because there will be occasional sand plumes that will come up and cause damage to you. They look like this before they come up, and they will consistently deal damage to you if they hit you. Now, after these die, there will be a second set that will spawn, and they will all pull at the same time. I've got regen on me, meaning they're going to go after the healer, so I will move on to the healer, and I will AoE. Always try to pay attention to what's going on around you as the tank. Okay. Come to the shifting sands, you go through the shifting sands. Brings you to the second of the 3 areas. Gotta run around. Yeah. Got that. Smack things. Make sure there are no other enemies around. and then it's going to be the same as the previous location. Move out of AoEs. When they are down, we will look for closest one. Make sure you got line of sight, attack it. We're going to go after the healer again because he regened me right before the pull. For anybody that's playing a healer, I know that some of you like to do the pre-gen, but in this game, unless you can see that the tank knows what they're doing, it's best not to, because a lot of tanks will ignore ads that they don't see. Like, they will focus on, if it were that previous instance of this fight we just got through, they would ignore all the ads and probably focus on what they were pulling for about the first 10 seconds or so. So be careful out there. Tanks, if you're watching, always pay attention to everything. The tank kind of has one of the more difficult jobs, but it's so much more rewarding in the long run, I feel. Okay, we've got bombs. Bombs, we pull back. The bombs will go and detonate. They will self-explode. So if you see the AoE, move out of it. I do not recommend stunning these, for the simple fact that these will kill themselves when they detonate. Get out. And we'll stun this one, and it should be dead before it can detonate. Yep. So, we have... what direction do we need to go? We need to go south. Oozy boss. First boss. Waiting for the healer. Alright, so this boss, the princess, she will spawn ad. Well, this boss was... okay. Ads will spawn in this fight. I was just conferring with, So, ads will spawn. The marshal... I think it's the mark. I'm getting lost. This player... the healer... okay, yeah. This is not the one that we need. Yes, that is the one that we need to kill. Anyways... that ad that spawned, it linked with the princess. It was not supposed to be on the princess. The healer was supposed to kite all of the ads around, running in a circle. I'm sorry, I may have to do this dungeon over, because that guy threw me off. So the way that fight is supposed to go is the ads will spawn. The Myrmidon, you have to... the healer would get a big heal off and then kite around the outer circle of the area, occasionally stopping to cast heals if need be. And when the other ads spawn, they just continue kiting while everybody DPS's the boss down. So, I apologize for that. Things were going fast, I was trying to pay attention to things, and I was paying attention to the wrong thing. There's the Sabatender. The healer was trying to tell me, looking at my sprout and thinking that I'm a new player, to face the enemies away from everybody to prevent the cleaves from going off, but none of the enemies had cleaves that we were fighting against. They all had the point-blank AoE that you can't face away from anybody because it's a point-blank AoE. So in these areas, you don't have to kill everything, you can just go around the shifting sands. And we'll go left this time. So we'll grab the Sabatender, we'll come up and grab the second group. Away from that. So, there are 2 of these, I believe, and then we go to the third area, which is right before a boss. And I thought the first boss was the boss that we're coming up to, so I was trying to remember the princess fight. I suppose having my failures in the videos would not be a bad thing in the long run. And that might be the first frontal cleave that we've had on a character in here, aside from the boss. So let us focus on getting these fights done. Okay. They're dead. Go through the shifting sand. Usually, as the tank, it's best to be the last one to go through the shifting sands. But... Alright, giant tunnel worm. Make sure everybody's here. This boss does have a cleave. Rather, a frontal cone attack. So, he will toss a dot on a random player called Sludge, which needs to be removed by the healer, because it actually does a decent amount of damage. When he disappears, run to the edge of the map. He's going to target one person, and you want to run away from the direction that that is at. Going to cast the Sludge out again. So, he's got the dive under and then charge, and then he's going to do a second variation on that. He's going to dive, he's going to create a well. It's going to draw us in. Or not. There we go. And you want to run back out because he's going to pop up and do burst damage to anybody that's standing near. And you want to remember that mechanic because that mechanic will appear later in certain boss fights. but he might dive one more time before we kill him. Unless they limit break. Yep, one more time. You always want to run out to the edge. There's going to be a random burst through the ground. You stay on the edge. If you are outside, if you are like in these little tiny cubbies, you should not take damage from the third one. As he's jumping around. Okay. Pass. Need. Hey. Paladin trousers. I have paladin trousers, or I will shortly. Still using level 28 stuff. Okay, we've got the slip sand. Someone's not rolling on loot. So these little slimes, easy to deal with. Got some trash to go through. The final boss is going to be a chimera. Or chimera, depending upon how you say it. I think it's actually chimera. So the golem, you don't have to worry about the golem. You do have to watch out for some environmental hazards like the fire. That will continuously go off. Thankfully, they did not keep the habit of having various traps and levels. Okay, we got a few more to pull. Got a Shoral Doblin. Come on. Run back to me. Normally I would banter with the party. I'm trying to do a teaching video. I've already failed at one thing in this video, so... Chimera. I want to go over the skills that it has, but I want to wait until the section so that anybody watching that's just for the boss fights will not be lost. Okay, we got one more pull before we get to the boss. Be that and that. Shoulder clap. Friggin' criers. So, no major things yet, but welcome to Chimera. Okay, Chimera is a fight that you should remember because you'll need to do this fight again later in a harder version. So they have multiple skills. Each head does something different. There will be a cone over to the monster's left, my right, and there's going to be one to the monster's right as well. There will be a point where eyes will turn a color. Ram's voice, I should have ran out for that. That was my mistake. I was waiting for it, but I was not paying attention to it. So Ram's voice, you want to get out of the center. For Dragon's voice, you want to be in the center or as far away as possible. Or, yep, they're running in. So that is a ring. That is a ring AoE. This is the first fight that actively uses them. Next skill, you have got something that guy should be running from. Because that's going to blow up and hit all of us. So, somebody will get targeted and there will be a ball of electricity that gets sent out. You get hit with it, you get paralyzed, and everybody around you gets paralyzed. So that's a pain in the butt. Ram's voice, run out. Run back in. Yep, so Laurel's got it this time. Your best option is literally to just run around. You don't really want to get hit by it, but you can still run and DPS if you know what you're doing. Ram's voice again, out, in. I'm going to see if I can't interrupt it this next time. Nope. But Ram's Keeper, that's going to drop a spot of ice on the ground. You want to pull it out so that the DPS can get behind it again. Pay attention to your group. Ram's Breath, dodge. Now, this is a fight that you will... Can I? Nope. In the later fight, you will be able to interrupt those skills. I'm gonna pop my cooldowns. Run away from Ram's voice, get back into the fight. Hug or get really far away for the Dragon's voice, because it is a ring that is centered around him, but it doesn't encompass the entire arena. So, that was Cutter's Cry. If you have any questions, leave them below. And yeah, that was Cutter's Cry. Go up late. Pass. Recommended gear. Hey. We got gear. And out before I could do this stuff. But yeah, I kind of take a little bit of offense that they were telling me to make sure that they don't get cleaved. None of those monsters did a cleave. That was all point-blank AoE. So I can't... The only way for me to prevent that from happening is to literally stun the enemy every time it pops up. And that's not... Oh, what's the word? Always possible. Oh. That's right. That's what happened. So, I think I'm going to be calling it there for tonight. I'm going to choose somebody to raid, but that's a few dungeons to go through for tonight. And tomorrow we will get on the ball for what comes after Cutter's Cry. That's going to be Stone Vigil and the Thamiel Darkhold, Orm Vale, and then Castrum and Praetorium. Okay, we're getting close. We're getting close. So, let's get to the... No, we can actually do it right here. So, thank you everybody that came in. I hope that you had a good time. Ultimate fan, thank you for the follow today. Gonna find somebody to raid. I think I know where we're gonna take this raid, but I'm just checking to see if everybody's online. Let's do a quick check of things, and yeah, we're actually gonna go somewhere different today. We're gonna go over and visit Beard Princess. They are a wonderful streamer. They're playing a game called Solasta, Crown of the Magister, and stick around for that. They're a really fun person and very upbeat, positive, just they're a wonderful person, just in general. So we're going to head over and visit them. Have a wonderful night, everybody.